Welcome to Fight Night in the Grotto. Tonight we'll be featuring the reigning champ, the EVH Flanger by MXR, and its contender, the Retrosonic Flanger. To make this a clean, fair, and even fight, I have pre-recorded different loops, one strumming and one fingerstyle, into the TC Electronic Ditto Plus. From there, we'll be feeding the signal into the Unobtanium by Crazy Tube Circuit, and finally going into the Opus by Two Notes Engineering. The Opus is using setting number 23, Clean Pretender. The only changes made, the noise gate has been turned off, and the ribbon microphone emulation has been set to the back of the cabinet instead of the front. We will be listening to both of them one at a time. We will introduce the controls on each of the pedals, and then go through a variety of settings as each of the loops play out. The EVH Flanger by MXR has been a mainstay on my board since about the year 2012. It's a hardwire bypass with a current draw of 35 milliamps, and it must run on 18 volts. You can plug a 9-volt power supply in, and you will be very disappointed. We'll start with the manual knob on the left that controls the degree of phase shifting. You get a width knob, which controls the intensity of time delay that is set by the speed. And of course, the speed knob controls the speed of time delay. Last, on your right-hand side, you will get the regeneration knob that controls the overall intensity of the effect. And finally, there is a push-button switch labeled EVH that engages the Unchained mode, which is the exact setting used by Eddie for that Van Halen song. Flanger by Retrosonic was given a 2020 Premier Gear Award by Premier Guitar. This unit can run on 12 to 18 volts with a typical negative center power supply. It's packed in a sturdy cast aluminum housing, analog bucket brigade delay path using a 3207 device, and draws only 23 milliamps. The 4 controls and switch are a rate which adjusts the speed of the flanger modulation, the range which controls the depth of the effect applied to the incoming signal, the color controls the amount of feedback signal applied, the level controls the overall output of the effect to make sure that you get no volume or gain drop whatsoever, and finally you have a filter switch which turns the LFO sweep on or off as the original electric Mistress does. I found that the Retrosonic Flanger is a bit brighter sounding overall, lets a little more high band pass come through. I noticed a little more hiss coming from the flanger. For some people, that white noise might be a little much to handle. However, that being said, it is a fun pedal, and as you heard, you can do some really cool things with self-oscillation on it. Coming over to the EVH flanger, this has a darker, deeper tone to it, a little more mid-oriented. Probably has some kind of a noise filter on it to help with that hiss that we hear in the vintage vibes. The other things I really like about it is the manual really lets you dial in the amount of phase. That's something that's really a good win for me. And the regen gets it into that same weird territory that the filter switch does on the vintage vibe flanger. For me, the EVH is still winning and the Supreme Champion. Either one is a really good way to go to get a great flange in your setup. However, the EVH just takes the nod, and it could be because it's what I'm really used to. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this Fight Night video between the EVH Flanger by MXR and the Flanger by Retrosonic. And thank you for considering and taking the time to like and subscribe to this channel.